That's right back, Charlie.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on. Because you always just have to run I think like. And with that being said, now time for me to do my job. People, deluded, I'm back again. Big up to you lot, whatever media platform you're watching on. Hope you all had a great start to the week, and I hope you all had a great weekend, I should say. And I hope Monday's been perfect for you lot. Now, the best thing I can say about the international break is the best part of it's done. We look ahead to the weekend. Obviously, Arsenal got Bournemouth. You don't support Arsenal Football Club, then I don't know who you've got, people. Again, housekeeping rules. Big up to you lot if you're on Twitch or Twitter. If you're on YouTube, smash the like button and make sure the creative juices are flowing. We've got a lot to go over, people. In a minute, we'll get into everything. You know, there's a bunch of talking points to go over. I want to offer some thoughts on Graeme Souness. I'd try not to buy it, but you see, once you come from my white granddad Arsene Wenger, I have some few choice words to say. Now, where Arsenal Football Club's concerned, as you lot know, our next block of games will see us play 7 times, and 5 of them will be away from home. We've got Liverpool to come, we've got Bournemouth, we've got the Champions League. I'm sure you all heard the news around Bukayo Saka and Martinelli, and actually just before going live, Tomiyasu. So we've got a lot to concern ourselves with us Arsenal fans, man. So yeah, make sure you're following and all of that. I hope you're doing well and safe. T, bless up, right back at you. And of course, big up yourself, Jay. Now, the first thing I want to just address the elephant in the room. Before I address my own thoughts, people, if you've been living under a rock or you've not cared about international football or any talking points to do with football because it's been a bit of a woeful period, Graeme Souness has said, very lucky Arsene Wenger opinion torn into as Simon Jordan speechless. Graeme Souness has issued his say about legendary Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger. Graeme Souness has labelled legendary Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger as very, very lucky and has questioned whether the Frenchman is even a football man. I guess you've just confirmed you've never had a conversation with Arsene Wenger because, everybody else says, his biggest problem was that he just lived and breathed football. There's no way around it. He is rightly so regarded as one of the, if not the best modern day managers or at a point in the Premier League across his 22 years at the football club. He won 2 Premier Leagues and FA Cup doubles and, revitalized this game really and truly. But I'm trying not to offer my thoughts. Graeme Souness specifically said, I've been on the bench listening to what he's telling his players to do. I've been working for Sky Sports in games where he's made very strange decisions. My take on him is that he got very, very lucky at a time where French football had its greatest ever group of players. He inherited the best back 5 in world football, a 22-year-old Dennis Bergkamp. I think Ian Wright, there was still life in him, people. I think he had a bit of luck, and then he had 10 years where he won a couple of FA Cups because that cycle had been and gone. I've never spoken to him about football. He never came into my office after a game, and the only manager that never did, I'd go to his office after a game and he'd never be there to talk football. I don't know if he was a football man or not. I've never spoken to him. So first things first, you're upset that Arsene Wenger's never given you the courtesy of a conversation, and I have to wonder why, really. Now, I know in the day and age, these big media houses and traditional media, the same thing that they've attacked YouTubers and anyone else with a voice about engagement and clickbaits and hyperinflated opinions. I think it's an absolute joke, if I'm honest with you, and I think he's absolutely wrong, really. Graeme Souness, before my time, but for what's available on YouTube as a footballer, fantastic footballer. At a point, you actually had some good managerial highlights, but you can never talk to Arsene Wenger. There's no Jurgen Klopp, no Pep Guardiola, no Jose Mourinho, no Conte. Insert any foreign manager without Arsene Wenger. You can have criticisms about Arsene Wenger, especially as we, entered into the Emirates, which he has to face a lot of music. But that man revolutionized this game. You talk about luck. You need luck in life, really and truly. Is Pep Guardiola lucky that he came across the best player ever in Lionel Messi? It's an absolute joke. Dennis Bergkamp was down on his luck. Thierry Henry was down on his luck. Of course, you know, at a time and age where he had the French market on lock, why would you not do that? But let's not act like he didn't know what he was doing at Monaco when he was with Japan, and the sheer bravery Arsene Wenger showed to be the first foreign manager to not only come here and give Arsene Wenger problems, but revolutionize the game. You know, a lot of what you're seeing around sports science and footballers treating themselves as athletes, you know, it's because of Arsene Wenger. It's well known. He can't ban sugar, he banned ketchup. It's an absolute farce. And in relation to Jurgen Klopp, he's offered his own thoughts, man. You know, Jurgen Klopp's a big manager in this thing. He's won everything there is to offer. He's a Liverpool and Premier League legend. So there is healthy debate. For me, Arsene Wenger is a better manager than Jurgen Klopp. You know, yes, you can judge football on trophies, rightly so, but it's also judged on how you touch the game and how you touch those, you know, around you and how your legacy extends when your managerial or playing careers are done. Arsene Wenger, a lot of what Arsene Wenger brought to this game is still here. There was a point where we had the best, you know, let alone when we had Thierry Henry and all of these guys, people, you know, he was bopping when we had the Emirates here, where we had some poor players. So Graeme Souness, please allow it, man. That's all I wanted to say on that. Good afternoon, Wayneski. I hope you're doing well and safe. Oliver as well. So yeah, man, that's all I wanted to say in relation to that. Now let's get into the thick of it and let's concern ourselves with specifically Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, and anything else. You know, Saka obviously pulled out of England international duty. He came off after the defeat to Greece. He played no part against Finland and actually returned to Arsenal. Allegedly, Jordan Campbell is saying Bukayo Saka is hopeful he'll be fit to face Bournemouth on Saturday after a hamstring issue saw him miss England's Nations League match against Finland. Now, you'd imagine if Saka is fit, there's a substantial amount of club football he'll be playing until the next international break. So for me personally, Bukayo Saka, with November coming on it, please allow it, really and truly. You don't need to go and play for England, and I'll extend that to Declan Rice. The winger is being assessed by the club's medical staff this week before a decision is made on his availability. Now, we're playing Bournemouth on Saturday night. You would imagine, you know, in the next couple of days when Mikel Arteta has his press conference, obviously he's going to be asked on the Martinellis, the Bukayo Sakas, and just the overall health on a lot of footballers at this football club, people. So yeah, we hope he's all right. In relation to Martinelli, people, Arsenal suffer another huge injury problem from international duty as informed star joins Bukayo Saka on the sidelines to leave Mikel Arteta on the verge of a selection crisis. Now, the headline and what's actually being reported might be two different things, but for what it's worth, Arsenal have been handed another huge injury scare after one of their players required further assessment on a muscle complaint while on international duty, according to reports. The Gunners have endured a miserable international break, with Bukayo Saka suffering an injury with England after captain Martin Odegaard was previously sidelined during the previous run of international fixtures. Now there is further gloom news for the manager Mikel Arteta, who is sweating on the fitness of another key first-team player that could cause a selection crisis at the Emirates. Martinelli is currently away on international duty with Brazil after being recalled to the squad following an upturn in form, but is now dealing with a fitness issue. The 23-year-old has scored 2 goals and registered 2 assists during Arsenal's last 5 games and has started 5 Premier League contests so far this season. Scrolling all the way down, however, Martinelli could now be set for a spell out of the team after damaging his calf and subsequently underwent an MRI scan on Sunday. The scan revealed the Arsenal winger has suffered a muscle edema, whatever that is, in his right calf after playing a substitute role in Brazil's 2-1 victory over Chile on Friday, in which shamelessly he had a hand in the goal, in it, like the pre-assist, if that makes sense. He'll now remain in Brazil to undergo further physiotherapy and treatment on the injury, with it now hoped the problem won't keep him out of action for any significant amount of time. Now, it's not what you want to hear. Let me know your thoughts. Now, I'm actually quite upbeat on Bukayo Saka and likewise Martinelli. Do I have any information to go off? No, because again, it could be better, it could be worse. You'd imagine Mikel Arteta's medical staff at Arsenal are in consistent dialogue, not just in relation to Bukayo Saka, but also Martinelli and all the other players. You know, again, it's not good news. You know, the worst case scenario is that both Bukayo Saka and Martinelli are both out. And who does that leave you to play? You're looking at Gabriel Jesus and probably Raheem Sterling, because we're already over-reliant on Trossard. Trossard's a bit irrelevant because, you know, we have to use him, you know, to deputise ahead of Martin Odegaard's absence as well. So it's a bitter pill to swallow, especially for Martinelli if this is anything, you know, serious, because he, as it said in the article, his form is now starting to come about. And we all know it's a squad game. We know injuries can strike at any time, people. So our squad is further being tested to its brim. Arsenal will now resume their bid for the Premier League title against Bournemouth on Saturday, with Martinelli now a doubt for the tie after his latest muscle problem. And again, even that, you know, Martinelli and Saka, how fit would they be? How much are Arsenal prepared to risk them if and when, you know, any news around this comes out? Apologies, people. My window is open and it seems like someone's on the run from police, you know, so let's close that because, you know, my ADHD is coming out and my focus is getting a bit swayed. Apologies for that. But yeah, carrying on this, people. The good news for Arsenal fans is that Saka could be fit for the clash. So we'll have to see, man. The game is too fast and physical. I'm not breaking news when I say that players are playing too many games. Player fitness is not a priority anymore. Making more money is. You said it there, New Footy England. Making more money is. They don't care about these footballers, you know, and I think many fans will be, mainly in England, much like anybody's troubles in life, a lot of people are desensitized because many people will just say, well, these footballers are getting paid a lot of money. I'd swap places with them, which is right. We'd all swap places. They earn a lot of money. But, you know, footballers are guinea pigs. You know, you're seeing an increased Club World Cup now, an expanded Champions League, an expanded World Cup, probably an expanded Euro soon, a bunch of pointless friendlies for club and country. It's ridiculous, really. And I think there has to be a correlation with the amount of games played and the injuries. And I would actually extend that a bit further and say the quality of football. Like, okay, maybe not necessarily club football, but you look at definitely the last Euros and the last well, to be fair, the World Cup was good, but the last Euros for all, I don't know how many from the group stages to the final. I don't know how many games are actually played in the European competition, but how many of those were enjoyable, man? So it's quite a shame. Keeping up the theme with Martinelli and things like that. Keep your thoughts coming. I think you're bang on the money. Shout out Riley in the cut as well. Man said Sterling needs to get into shape. Sterling needs to get, we need the whole squad, and Sterling is in Sterling's best interest to hit the ground running at this football club. You might earn a permanent move. You might put yourself back into the shop window at Chelsea, or you might depart for elsewhere. Yeah, keeping up the theme with Martinelli. As we know, he picked up an injury over the weekend. Apparently, he's been seen wearing tape during a training session and reportedly being accompanied by the team doctor at Brazil's hotel, with the Brazilian Football Confederation, CBF, confirming overnight on Sunday that he has been sent for an MRI scan on a right calf problem. Now, I'm no physio, but how many of these footballers went off to play for their countries with little knocks and niggles? Because we all get what? There's been 5 or so Premier League games now. We're now getting to the 10-game mark. This is now, for me, where you see what teams were working on from a tactical point of pre-season, and now where you start to see knocks. And again, you know, from a you know, when I use my heart, of course, you know, players should never be begrudged about playing for their country. You know, your football career is short. You want to play as many games for club and country as possible. You want to win as many titles. But cynically for Arsenal, can we now start to look after our players? Not that we don't look after our players, but where you look at the Sakas, the Martinellis, the Declan Rices and people of that ilk, can we start pulling them away from what is essentially pointless international friendlies, especially with our record? You know, anytime there's an international break, things happen, man. It is what it is. We're not going to see a consistent team until January Champions League quarterfinals, provided we get there. Yep, no Martinelli or Saka on Saturday. I'd urge caution, man. I'd urge caution. I'm a lot more upbeat on Bukayo Saka than I am Martinelli. I don't know why, I just am. Surely both of them are not out. If both of them are out, Bournemouth are a good team with Areola. They play good football. There should be enough to beat them. Where it starts to get a bit concerning is, forgive me if I'm wrong, next week is actually the Champions League for us. And then you can't look beyond what's in front of you. But then next weekend, we've obviously got Liverpool, and I think it's unthinkable to say no Bukayo Saka, no Martinelli, no Odegaard. If that's the case, we're gonna have to get on with it, and we're gonna have to see what's being done. But the question is, you know, even if they pass the fitness test, how fit are they to play? How many minutes do they have in the legs? In an ideal world, you know, forgive me, Bournemouth fans, if you are listening, but you want to go out there, better Bournemouth take these boys off sooner rather than later. Apparently, player Martinelli complained of pain in his right calf and underwent an MRI on Sunday night, which showed a small area of muscle edema in that area. The athlete continues to undergo physiotherapy treatment under the care of the Brazilian national team's medical department. Edu used to work for the CBF, so you need to make sure they're doing everything that needs to be done. In fact, forget all their practices. Our physios need to take control of whatever Martinelli needs to do to be able to play, not just against Bournemouth, but what is to come. So, yeah, we've gone over that. Throw in Tomiyasu, and I love Tomiyasu, man. I think he's a quality player for the squad. Whether you can give him a job, like, ironically, we've got Liverpool coming up, you know, you say for 90 minutes, stay close to Salah, stay closer to him than his wife and kids probably will. Obviously he's versatile. He's a good player to have when you're closing out games. Unfortunately, all of this is irrelevant if Tomiyasu is not fit, and that's the one issue with Tomiyasu. You can't bet on his fitness, and I do wonder how much patience Arsenal are losing in that regards. Could he be someone on the chopping block? Allegedly, people. Now, again, Arteta is going to be asked on this, but this article has said Arsenal fear Takahiro Tomiyasu will face another spell on the sidelines after only recently returning to action from a knee injury. Team talk can exclusively reveal. You throw in Zinchenko's injury, you throw in the fact that, Timber is just coming back from an ACL. Calafiori's had a bit of knocks. Benjamin White going into this international period had some knocks. So, yeah, it's a bit mad, really and truly. It's crazy when you look at the amount of injuries we've had, and Thomas Partey hasn't been one of them. Fingers and everything crossed. As we all know, Tomiyasu made his first appearance of the season with a late cameo off the bench in a 3-1 win over Southampton before the international break. The defender had missed the first few weeks of the new campaign as he was nursing a knee issue he sustained in pre-season. As you know, he was left out of the Japan squad for their games against Saudi Arabia and Australia due to the lack of action. Apparently, sources have confirmed to Team Talk that Arsenal are seriously concerned Tomiyasu suffered a recurrence of his knee problem in his short appearance against Southampton, and he could be now out of action for another month. I love the guy, but if this persists throughout this season, boy, uncomfortable conversations need to be had, if I'm honest with you. It means the versatile star who can play as a fullback or centre-half will be unavailable for this weekend's clash with Bournemouth as the Premier League resumes after the international break. You throw in the Sakas, the Martinellis, Partey and Kai Havertz did withdraw from international commitments. Obviously, Benjamin White and Timber actually, still have knocks. So it's crazy, man. It's in September, it emerged that Arteta was willing to let the 42 capped international leave in January, as his key concern is Tomiyasu is rarely fit enough to play for long periods. I wouldn't let him go in January personally, but in the summer, uncomfortable conversations need to probably be had around him, around what we're doing with Raheem Sterling, around probably Jakub Kiwior, around Zinchenko, around Gabriel Jesus and several others, people. And as you know, Tomiyasu is always linked with clubs in Italy. Juventus, Inter Milan rumours won't go away, people. We've also been linked with a South American striker. Big up you lot that watched my video earlier. Smash the like button and keep your opinions flowing, people. Santiago Castro, a 20-year-old Bologna forward now. After buying Kiwior, after buying Tomiyasu, after buying Calafiori, we've clearly got our eyes and ears open to the Italian market, and we do need a striker. So if he's the guy, why not? He's only 20 years of age. For an informed opinion, I'm not the one to ask. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know him, people. We've also been linked with Napoli's goalkeeper, Alex Moretta, as well, people. Tommy has only played 20 minutes for another 6 games. He can't play one half yet. Easily bet that. And it's jarring, man, because Tommy, we need you, really. For me, in an ideal world, the Calafioris, the Timbers, the Benjamin Whites, Tomiyasu on the bench. I think I speak for every Arsenal fan where you want the strongest team possible. And it's that age-old thing. Just as some players start returning, others get injured, man. Like, you want to see our right-hand side solidified. The left-hand side with Calafiori and Martinelli look good. Moreno's coming back. Whether Moreno's necessarily going to start ahead of Declan Rice, which I don't necessarily believe. So I think it's Declan Rice and either Partey or Moreno and Declan Rice. Does Partey necessarily deserve to be dropped? I don't know, but these are good. These are the problems and the questions we want to exclusively have as Arsenal fans, man. This is what we get for rushing guys back. Have we rushed Tomiyasu back though? Like, have we rushed him back? I agree. It appears that we rushed him back because obviously he's played 20 minutes. Allegedly, there's been a setback, but you could argue, for argument's sake, which we're not privy to because we don't have the information, have we, technically was he marked off sooner? Because, Mikel Arteta could be playing a bit of games as managers do, but he does always say, Tomiyasu's pushing everyone, he wants to start. Have we been a bit proactive, a bit cautious, better yet, in that regards? And then it's just happened again. What I would say is, I don't know, man, but it's the same old story with a lot of these players, man, and you don't want to keep hearing it. The best trait you could have is being available. Now, players get injured. It's like a chef cutting their hand in the kitchen. But, you look at the Zinchenkos, the Gabriel Jesuses, the Tomiyasus, historically, Thomas Partey. We need to get into a realm where these things are not a thing, man, really. We rushed him back during that Champions League run. Then all of a sudden he got injured. It's pretty obvious. Fair enough. Hey, we're just going to have to get on with it. I guess you reap what you sow in that regards, people. I'm sure nobody really wants to hear about this or care about it, but for what it's worth, Arsenal defender William Saliba is reportedly wanted by Real Madrid, but the Spanish side may find it difficult to strike a deal. Now, I would imagine, people, over the next few days and weeks and months, whether he's gonna, I think one day he'll play for Real Madrid, but whether he goes there next summer or not, I expect the rumors to heat up, just because we know from last summer where Real Madrid tried to buy Lenny Yoro that they've got their eyes and ears for a centre half. Apparently, David Alaba, who can play left back as well as centre half, his recovery is struggling. So clearly, Real Madrid need to act within the market, and they're still linked with, they're linked with. I don't even know if he's a defender. Spurs fans said he was the best in the league in Romero. So take of it with a pinch of salt. We know Saliba's doing great. We know he recently signed a new deal until 2027. And I'm sure a lot of us Arsenal fans are thinking, you know what, come next year, you lot need to be probably upgrading his deal really and truly. And, we saw in his first year being an Arsenal footballer, like a proper Arsenal footballer, when he got injured, our title challenge went down the toilet. Played every game in the Prem for us last year as we ran it down to the last day of the season. And we hope that that's the same old thing this season, really. According to the Express, the Gunners are unconcerned by the news of Real Madrid's interest in Saliba, allegedly. The London club's stance is said to be firmly that he's not for sale and that any offers will be rebuffed. Saliba signed for Arsenal from St Etienne in 2019 when he was only 18. And that's true. He's been here for a minute. But for me, I don't know about you lot, people, but only count Saliba as an Arsenal footballer, including this year, the last 3 years, because this is when he's proper been part of the first team. You haven't half been here, half been there. 1 minute you're on loans, then you're staying for 6 months, then you're palmed out in January. You're here and you've arrived. And he's only made 92 first team appearances for us, people. And we did have the best defensive record in the Prem last season. We kept 18 clean sheets. And conceded only 29 goals. I think we've conceded the same amount of goals at this period as we did last year as well, folks. I don't want to keep going over the injury stuff, but it's unknown when Bukayo Saka's back. Potentially could be back for the game on Saturday against Bournemouth. The same is said for Kai Havertz. Odegaard apparently, is late October. There were some social media rumors and reports that, obviously there's been a setback. I guess we'll never know, but the Sky Sportses and all of those individuals of this world came out and quashed those. We've gone over Kai Havertz. Partey, you'd imagine, unless something crazy happens, he'll be about against Bournemouth. It's still not known on what's going to happen with Benjamin White. Another one we're waiting on Mikel Arteta's press conference, but you hope he's back for Bournemouth. The same said for Timber. In relation to Zinchenko, I remember Mikel Arteta did say he's a few weeks away. Not really optimistic on you being about for Bournemouth, but we need our players back. Kieran Tierney is a myth. Obviously, young Neto. He's therefore not young. He's one of the oldest in the side. Neto can't be on the bench against Bournemouth because we actually got him on loan. So you're looking at the Tommy Setfords, maybe the Jack Porters and people of that ilk to deputise on the bench. Trossard and Saliba possibly get injured today. Hopefully not. Less of that. We rebuke that. Hopefully Trossard, Saliba and anyone else taking part for Arsenal Football Club in any commitments for their countries, there's no issues. 80 million for Saliba. Anything less is a hard no. Do you know what? You're a better man than me. I'm screaming 100 million. I'm screaming, obviously he's nowhere near what Van Dijk is. He's nowhere near his prime, but Saliba's nowhere near his prime. He's obviously going to be a linchpin. He's about for a couple of years. He's established himself as one of the, if not the best defender in world football in the Premier League. He's part of an ever-present Arsenal side. He's now making inroads into the French national team. Bro, if you ain't got 90, 100 million, get the hell out of here. And he is contracted until 2027. So you'd imagine in the next 12 to 18 months, him, couple of others, we need to get extended renewals sooner rather than later, man, really. And obviously, I've accepted one day Saliba's going to play for Real Madrid in it. But like, if there's a next guy in France that we can do something with, let's get it done. Big up DG. I can't lie, I'm tired of injuries, but this is the problem of having a small squad. I mean, injuries are not unique to Arsenal. We've seen this many a time now. We're going to just have to get on with it and deal with it, if I'm completely honest with you guys, man. It's not what you want to hear, but you reap what you sow, really, and injuries can strike at any time. Now, where Lokonga's concerned, apparently Sevilla could be planning to, take us up on the buy option. Estadio Deportivo have confirmed that the figure is indeed at around 12 million euros, and Sevilla believe that the midfielder's current valuation is close to that amount. So put the money down and commit this thing then, innit? That's why they had agreed to sign Lokonga, blah, blah, blah. I actually think Lokonga's given an interview. Again, I can't speak Spanish, so hopefully Google Translate will help me out. I think he's been speaking about Arteta. Now, obviously, a bit of it is probably gamesmanship. You're never going to talk bad on your work bosses, but even the players that depart the football club, it seems like, at least to the public, maybe I'm a bit naive, but they don't have a bad word to say about Mikel Arteta, people. Where is it, man? There was a point here. Well, long story short, we won't go over it because Google Translate's not making this make sense for me, people. But yeah, long story short, Lokonga's spoken about the difficulties he faced at Arsenal, his time at Anderlecht, and he spoke about Mikel Arteta being a meticulous planner and things of that ilk. Moving away from that, Arsenal have reportedly decided to end their transfer interest in Espanyol goalkeeper Jean Garcia and have turned their attentions towards Napoli shot stopper Alex Meret instead. Apparently, the Italian international is in the final year of his contract at Napoli. Apparently, he has an option to extend it by a further year. Apparently, Arsenal are looking into the possibility of snapping him up on a free transfer next summer. But if they've got the option of another year, isn't this all at their mercy, essentially? I mean, we need to, well, Edu specifically needs to be identifying a second, let alone third choice goalie, because I don't know if there's a buy option in Neto's deal. I'd imagine he wasn't the first choice. He is someone who's been linked with before, but he arrived on deadline day. Respectfully to him and Raheem Sterling, clearly that was just a thing where, let's say face, we can't really make anything else happen. So it is what it is. These amount of games are going to kill the players that are generally healthy. Imagine these players that are injury prone. They don't care about these footballers. You know, the governing bodies that be, they're just going to turn around and say, do you know what, you can make more subs, you can have a bigger squad, and the same issues are going to happen. They really don't care. Partey is still linked with Barcelona, people, as his contract runs down. You would imagine, you know, his form, anything can happen. All we hear around Thomas Partey is how great he is for Arsenal and how much Mikel Arteta likes him, but he's on the wrong side of 30. He's on some big wages, and although we hope that it continues and he's not injured at this moment in time and it's been quite good, you're never quite confident with prolonged fitness from Thomas Partey. You'd imagine he'd be moved on. Although I am keen to see if, you know, both Partey and Jorginho move on, or if both stay, or if both go, or any denomination of it, because I'd rather keep Partey than Jorginho just in terms of playing. But then you could caveat that with Jorginho's on less wages. I'm not going to say he's a bigger influence, but you know, I'm sure Partey is a leader in his own way. But you know, Jorginho seems to have the respect of all his, not that Partey doesn't, but has the respect of all his teammates. You know, Jorginho's an extension of Mikel Arteta's coaching staff, probably going to go into coaching as well. You know, already got a marginalized role already. Could you argue Jorginho could be given another extension? I don't know. Probably need to move on from both. Probably need to bring one in January, in my opinion, and then one in the summer. I don't think that's realistic, if I'm honest with you, because I don't think you're going to have Mikel Moreno, Partey, Jorginho, Declan Rice. You got to remember, you know, Kai Havertz has been used on occasion in midfield. I don't think it's realistic, really. And you do kind of need to keep a pathway for Ethan as well, people. Arsenal look ready to rival Chelsea for 67 million transfer if another major deal goes through. Who we've been linked with now. Arsenal reportedly shown an interest in Sporting Lisbon defender Osman Diomande amidst some uncertainty over the future of William Saliba. You could make the case that Arsenal need another centre-half anyways. I always take it with a pinch of salt when we're linked with Diomande and Gurhi and, you know, top centre-halves, because if you reckon you can take Saliba or Gabriel's spot or change Mikel Arteta's thinking, granted, and maybe not so much now, but there was a point where City had like 3-4 arguably centre-halves or defenders that could start for other clubs for 38 Prem games. They had that depth, and you know, Mikel Arteta, you've introduced me to a serious vibe with all these defensive options, so I wouldn't be against it. We've been linked with Diomande for years now, going back to his days in Denmark. I don't necessarily know if there's a correlation between William Saliba's future and us signing Diomande. I think it's a case of creative journalism. Likewise, Chelsea are still linked as well. Subscribe if you're new here and smash the like button, people. Obviously, it's not been nice for Arsenal's women. You know, you would have seen Beth Mead say they need more support. You know, Igval, I can never say his name, the manager, Jonas Igval. I personally think the writing's on the wall. You're looking like you have to go the same way Una Emre went, people. The football is stale. It is dire. And yeah, we saved a bit of face making it 2-1, but it's not nice, really and truly, if I'm completely honest with you, how the women are moving. So yeah, not as crystal clear in terms of the future as the men's side. So might need to get another gaffer in, people. Arsenal and Brighton are unlikely to face any significant issues despite their hefty shareholder loans putting them in the spotlight following City's associated party transactions case. As you know, the Cronkies have put loaned us a lot of money in that regards, a bit like Football Manager when you have two managers. We're still linked with Jonathan David. As you know, his contract is running out. Not against it. think he's a bit better than I gave him credit for. Don't know how you move the needle. If Mikel Arteta wants him and you've got a plan, great. Could be a low risk, addition, because apparently he's got a 20 million price tag on his head in January. And as you know, in the summer, he could arrive for free. Seems like he's found his goal scoring boots again, and we do need a forward, so I wouldn't be against it. We have been linked with Gittins of Dortmund. Apparently, Spurs have been given the green light to go for him, and Dortmund are willing to sell. So I wonder if that's something we spin around back on. Arsenal see Meret opportunity as agent reveals Napoli's stance. I just want to see exactly what his agent has said. We've been in contact even before the international break. Alex is very happy with how the season's going. He's been in Napoli for 5 years and he's happy. I don't rule out the possibility of reaching an agreement, but there's still a negotiation to be had. The important thing is that parties stay in contact. So that probably puts to bed already the rumors of that keeper. I'm tired of hearing about Nico Williams. Until you say I want to sign for Arsenal, I don't care. But apparently he's insisted he will not let the intense speculation around his future distract him this season. I mean, the noise is always going to be there, but the market's closed. Maybe in January it heats up. I think him and his heart knows anything can happen. But the Arsenals, the Chelseas, the Barcelonas, whoever's been linked with him, they're not coming back until the summer, essentially. Arsenal and Barcelona allegedly were both keen on the winger, who has a release clause of around 58 million euros, in brackets 48.5 million, in his contract signed last December, but he ended up staying in Bilbao and taking the 10 shirt. Barcelona and the Gunners are expected to return for the 22-year-old next summer, while other parties may come to the table as well, but Williams is not allowing that to impact him. I'm not thinking about that right now. The Athletic fans are very happy that I'm staying here, and I'm very happy to be here. Bilbao is my home. I may wait till the form drops off, because, football is a dangerous game. I want to continue enjoying it, and the truth is that I'm very happy. I've always had things very clear, and I think people see that. I think I'm doing really well and trying to take Athletic to the top in Spain and in Europe with that Europa League final in San Mans. That excites us so much. That's the only thing that matters now. So there you might have it. Maybe you wanted to stay because you wanted a year in Europe with Bilbao and potentially to win stuff. In the end, you have to live with it, in brackets, transfer talk. Football works like this, with many interests from clubs, medias, the players, and there's always noise. It is neither bad nor good. It is what it is, and it does not affect my performance. I want to continue doing the same job that I've done until now. On a personal level, there have been some tough times in which you stop to think about many scenarios. It is difficult, but I have an incredible family and friends who support me. I want to think that this will not happen to me every summer. Of course not, especially if you sign for us, really and truly. You see what we're doing. Let's start closing some tabs, people, just because it looks a bit more prettier. See, tab police, I've tried to make it a bit more pretty. I hope you look like the little background that's going on as well, people. We've gone over that. Once again, Arsenal and Chelsea apparently among the Premier League clubs recently to have scouted Bologna forward Santiago Castro. The 20-year-old, apologies, looks a big prospect. Apparently Nottingham Forest, Everton, Aston Villa, Chelsea and Arsenal have all been credited. How greedy, Emre, man. You've got Duran and Watkins. Do you really need another forward unless somebody's on the move? You would have seen Declan Rice scored against Finland, and, shamelessly, you could say he showed his ability as a number 8. I don't quite buy that, but yeah. Chelsea apparently are reportedly the latest club to join Arsenal and City in the race to sign Torino midfielder Samuel Ricky. I like him a lot. Think technically he's of the level. I don't know. The issue I've always had about him is physically, can he put himself around in the Premier League? But technically and tactically, you could see why Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta, and I guess Maresca, who's from the same school of thought, having been at the City group, have all been linked. Allegedly, sources have told Court of Side that Ricky will likely cost around 50 million euros to sign from Torino. I'm sure Calafiori and Jorginho could give their own 2 pence to the recruitment staff. So it remains to be seen if Chelsea will realistically spend that kind of money on a player who wouldn't necessarily be a star. I mean, they've got more money than sense. So yeah, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester City, all in the ring where that man is concerned. We've gone over Nico Williams already. Never seen this guy before, but apparently Celtic starlet wanted by Arsenal as Hoops face losing another academy talent. Who is this? Who's been linked? Celtic attacker Rocco Di Giacomo is wanted by Arsenal. I mean, he's clearly Scottish, but there must be some Italian or something there. He must be wavy. I've never seen him play, but you must be a number 10 or a winger or something. With a name like that, I'm not expecting a defender. Let's see what's being said. 67 Hail Hell can reveal exclusively that Arsenal are keeping close tabs on the creative wide player who can also operate in the number 10. You see, with a name like that, he's got to be wavy, who has done who has done with the Hoops Academy teams in recent seasons. The 15-year-old is not yet old enough to put pen to paper on a professional deal either in Scotland or England, and would have to wait to do so. We've been linked with a lot of Scottish players and brought in a couple. Obviously, you would have seen Callan Hamill, and obviously owing to Brexit, we can't exactly go to Spain and Holland and all of those countries to bring in young players as easy as it previously was. So, I mean, never seen him play, but if you got to have something about you. If you've been at Celtic, you've got to be half decent. So bring him to the carpet if that's the thing. Once again, Arsenal's women unfortunately lost to Chelsea. Apparently, Global Footballers Union FIFA Pro teamed up with Europe's domestic leagues to file a formal complaint against FIFA at the European Commission in Brussels on Monday. So kind of going back to what we was discussing, people, about player welfare, maybe we haven't seen the end of that. Now, you have to forgive me for being quite pessimistic. I don't think the powers that be give a flying monkeys about this, really. I don't think they care about the players' health. I don't think they give a monkeys about, forget your playing careers. You lot are young men and you're gonna be grandparents and all of that stuff. They really don't give a crap about your health, if I'm honest with you. On that as well, people, make sure you're checking out the other videos as well. I did a video on Ricardo Calafiori, and make sure you're following my second channel because I did a tier list, people, and a certain player is getting heat from me. I think he's overrated. I'm not going to lie to you. Extremely generational talent, but boy, I know what would be said if Bukayo Saka had 3 international tournaments, was bigged up as the golden boy and did nothing. I know if Declan Rice had more goals in recent games at international level than certain attackers, there'd be question marks, but stop putting Iniesta and whatnot, man. Williams is definitely not random. What do you mean by that? Mead looks off the pace a bit. Jonathan David is perfect for Newcastle. Proper Callum Wilson replacement. Only Chelsea will spend in the winter another random kid. You don't find it weird that all the hate talk on Arsenal is always up Scousers and Manx? Spurs, Arsenal, not all up in the media. Man are getting repped from Darren Bent and Micah Richards. I mean, I think us Arsenal fans, one thing we need to do, is learn to ignore. I don't think we can. Even me, I'm a hypocrite because Graeme Souness was talking absolute nonsense about Arsene Wenger, and I spent at least 2 minutes speaking on it. But I think we need to ignore. We stop seeking validation. They don't like us. That's what it is. I wish we lived in a world where, everybody was spoken about fairly and, the positive criticism, positives in the criticisms were judged appropriately, but that's not that. Now, if it's not the criticisms and the wrong criticisms, it's all, Arsenal, the best thing since sliced bread, we're unstoppable, where, you're seeing the shameless content that is out there. So as Arsenal fans, I think we need to learn to ignore, but I don't think we will. So I think it's going to be here to stay, if I'm honest, man. But it is weird. There is no motivation to remain /stay fit. It's ridiculous. A football player can become a millionaire in 4 weeks. Football has certainly become purely money motivated now. Even when a player is injured, they still get paid the same. There's no motivation to remain and stay fit. It's ridiculous. I hear you. I think that's a bit naive, though. I think that's very naive. I don't think there's a single footballer that goes out there, unless, they've been alienated by their club. I don't think there's a single footballer out there that isn't motivated, because a football career is short. Of course, money can corrupt you. Money, especially for the younger players, when everybody's blowing smoke up your ass, telling you how great you are, and you've made a couple of appearances to the first team, you're on FIFA now, you're being adored. There's every reason to be complacent. But I think the majority of footballers realize that before you know it, your career will blink. Your career can end at any time, God forbid, but you can make 100 appearances for club and country. The next appearance, you could break your leg and that's it. You're done out here, really and truly. And I don't think anyone is sitting there and going, yeah, I've got money in the bank, whatever. If anything, I think the fact that they've got financial security means they want to go and get after their goals more. And to be honest with you, if anyone's lacking motivation in football, it's the fat cats that own football clubs and decide the calendar lists and are in charge of the game we love. Because, footballers, like what's in it? I don't know what the highest fee a weekly wage, better yet, a footballer's earning. But if you're earning 300 grand a week, I don't know why I always think of that. I just think of Pogba and Ozil. If they're earning 300k a week, from a business point of view, what the club is not paying them that unless they're making some serious pounds on those pennies, man. So I respectfully disagree, man. 120 mil, that would be great for Saliba, really. But as his contract kind of winds down, boy, the negotiation hand's weaker. Hi, mate. Hope you're doing well and safe. Big up yourself, Alan, as well. So, yeah, man. Transfer mark has him evaluated at 80 mil. I was going based off that. Fair enough. And to be fair, some would say maybe Edu's not the best of negotiators, but anything less than 90 to 100 mil for Saliba, we've done something wrong. We've done something wrong, especially even when it comes to the young French centre halves. At this moment in time, bearing in mind, we've only scratched the surface of Saliba. I said it before. You look at what Arsene Wenger says, and he speaks about, like, when you get to 23, this is when you're a real footballer. Saliba's just turned 23. Saka's just turned 23. This is when you're serious now. Saliba's gone through some good, obviously good and bad periods will happen throughout your career, but he's gone through those, you know, been in the wilderness at Arsenal, been on a couple of loan spells. Obviously, Deschamps wasn't rocking with him in the French team. Probably unclear when he initially returned 2 years ago at Arsenal if Arteta was going to rock with him, but he solidified himself for Arsenal, solidifying himself for France, become a household name now. Even the Arsenal haters have to give that man his credit. You know, how many games and big players has he played against and done well. Now Saliba's arrived. Where's his age mates? Like, we all know France is a gold mine for young players. You know, they're all everywhere. And to be fair, as a selfish Arsenal fan who, for a large part of my 29 years, only knew Arsene Wenger, yes, Saliba's a step in the right direction, but we should have grabbed Kante when the chance was there. Should have Mbappe or somebody like that. Who's talking to Saliba? Big up Konate. I think he's a good player at Liverpool, but he's a level below. Desassi, stop it. Fufana, stop it. Lenny Yoro's 18, and I think he's very good, but obviously he's going to go and learn from Ten Hag and probably pick up some bad habits at this moment in time. No one's there, really and truly. Like, Saliba's looking at Van Dijk and all of those kind of players now. So, yeah, we need our piece. No panic, Saliba's going nowhere. I hear that. Bruh, stop wasting time on the Saliba talk. It ain't a thing. Rivals want convo, move on. Hey, man, there ain't much to speak about. Saliba needs a new contract with massive wage increase and a proper hefty release clause. I mean, the way Arsenal have been moving, you know, Saliba, Saka, and the rest of them, even probably Timber and Calafiori, if they keep doing what they're doing, you'd imagine they get renewed deals. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but Saliba is the best centre-back in the Prem right now. I'm here for that. I'm not going to lie, though. I'm not going to lie. I don't think enough respect's given to Gabriel. Now, I know Saliba's a couple years younger. He's more gracious. I do think he's a better defender, but they're a perfect partnership. And it does feel like a bit of favoritism where you look at Saliba and Gabriel. It's like if they were both sons, it's like Saliba's the golden child. Gabriel's the black sheep. It took Gabriel, like people fell in love with Saliba from the jump. It took people a while to really take in Gabriel. And even at the start of this season, he's always one where, like, oh, drop him, he could get sold. And da-da-da-da-da. Now everybody loves him after the last few weeks, man. The likes of Pogba, Ronaldo, Neymar all paid their transfer fee within a month of signing/re-signing for big clubs. And even them names there, I don't have the info to hand, but when Cristiano Ronaldo, whether he signed for Real Madrid, whether he signed for Juventus, whether he was doing his thing at Man United or returned, he's got to have been at some point a record shirt seller or made a lot of money. Kylian Mbappe, I'd throw him into that PSG stuff. Neymar's definitely sold out shirts wherever he's gone. Paul Pogba at a time as well. Spare a thought for Pogba. He actually doesn't have a club. Best partnership in the Prem. Yeah, I think it is, man. And it's lovely to say that during the Emirates era, man, really, because there was a time where, let's be honest, Arsenal disrespected defending. We disregarded defending. Now it's back at the forefront. Defense wins titles. I think we've got a title winning defense. Goals win games. I think we've got a couple of players that can score goals and whatnot. I still think we need a striker and a winger, but we've got what we've got until then, essentially, man. So it is what it is in that regards, man. So yeah. But with that being said, I don't want to waste any more of you lot's time, people. There's no point waffling and rambling. As usual, big up you lot for your input. If you want any more extended videos, make sure you're following on my second channel where it's not just an Arsenal talk thing. We talk a lot of other stuff. So yeah, man, you lot across Twitch, Twitter or YouTube, big up yourself. Smash the like button and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Again, I'm happy that the Premier League is back. So it means we'll have more things to talk about. Make sure your notification bells are on. And most importantly, stay safe, stay blessed. And we'll link up again soon, man. Peace.